Hello, welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be about how I organize my life, my personal life, my work life within Google Calendar. If you are new here, hi, my name is Karina and I do monthly plan with me's on my Notion and with my Google Calendar. I do also plan with my daily planner just to make quick to-dos. Let me tell you, I live through my Google Calendar. I have it on my phone. I use it every day. I'm looking at my stuff. It's what it's my second brain, you know? I'm gonna use an old calendar because it's one that has a lot of the colors that I use, and that's one of the biggest things that I love about Google Calendar. I'll show you what a filled out month looks like, how I change and categorize my events and my personal stuff. Here in October of last year, you can see a full month completely done. Beginning here on this side, we have the three little options. You can create your full screen of just the calendar, or if you want, you can have a smaller calendar here to the left, and on this side you'll see all of your different calendars collected, and here is where you're able to take the events away, the separate calendars away, and you can hide, showcase whatever you need whenever you need it. So you can always toggle through that. Because a priority of mine is my mental health, I have over the past like 6 to 8 months have been tracking my wins, and I've been tracking a lot of specific things that are for me to talk to my therapist about. So these red ones here are my wins, and I do need these in order to remind myself that I'm doing a good job, because I forget a lot of the time. My color coordination is a little all over the place. However, there's a method to my madness. And the yellow ones that I have, you can see here, is for acting. The gray ones are my bills. The gray for me just kind of glazes over and is there to remind me, but also isn't popping out of the screen. My acting though, yellow has always been my favorite color. I've kept yellow as acting for pretty much my entire life, so it's been something that has worked for me. Each color I already know in my brain. I'm a visual learner, so color separation is super helpful for me. Then you'll go into events, and these are things that, like, if I'm hanging out with somebody, if I'm going to a show. My personal one I typically do for any appointments. Mostly it's filled with a lot of my therapy stuff. I do have tasks in here, and frequent tasks that I have are my money check-ins and my financial check-ins with myself. And then my to-dos, because I usually do like a long list, I will do my my shopping. So here, a Target list is, you can always, when you click on your event, you can also include a to-do list or your list of groceries, whatever you need. You can always input it in there, and then it's super easy to just view. So whenever I go to the grocery store, I'll make my grocery list, and then I can just keep track of what it is that I need there. I do have one for travel. I don't think I did much traveling, but typically I will make an event that is an all-day event, and I'll show you what that means, so that it's at the very top of the screen as opposed to some of these smaller little dots. My wins, I just went over that. These are for me and my mental health. And my work, I have those guys in there as well. And then workouts, I track my workouts. A lot of it is either stretching or walks or running at the beach. And then YouTube, I have a separate one for YouTube so that I can keep track of how long it's taking me to edit something, what it is that I need to do. So I'll categorize it with either a little laptop emoji or a little filming emoji, so I know the differences in what I'm working on. If you go to the right here on top, you can change it to a weekly view, monthly view we were just in, or if you just want it for the full day. and you can see just the full year there too. I typically keep it on a monthly. It's easier for me to see, I guess, but sometimes it can be a little much. Here I can tell the difference between going on a workout, knowing that I went on a workout, and going just to like hang out with friends or something on this day. All of the yellow, like I was saying, is with my acting, anything acting, rehearsals, self-tapes, everything that goes in with that. I track with my yellow, and then to create an event, so you can always click on the day and then whatever time that you need, you come up here and you can add rehearsal, and then we'll say that it's also part of acting. So down here is where you'll have all of your events, excuse me, all of your calendars. So then I choose acting, it immediately changes it to yellow, and then I can also add a description here if I want to, and include something like, make sure that I take my script, review notes. And if I am meeting up with someone, you can always add a location here. And if it were to be on Google Meet virtually, you can always include that there as well. You can also create tasks. So if you click again, you can change it, instead of an event, you can change it to tasks, and it changes it to a smaller little line that you can read script. We'll say that that's what this task is. And then you can also keep it at 3 o'clock, so you can give it a time, or if you want, you can always click all day, and then that will just move it immediately to the top of your calendar. This is really nice if you have very strict deadlines or something. Your tasks will remind you. You can always set a reminder for them. And then when you save it and you're done with it, you're able to mark it as complete, and then it makes a complete strike through, so you know that you've done that task and you're all good. The way that I got my colors, so again, I've sort of kept the same colors for myself. It's not like a very cohesive or aesthetically pleasing color scheme, but it works for my brain because I know what every color means. I associate the color to the task. I don't necessarily need it to look pretty. I just need it to make sense, make a quick trigger in my brain to tell me that's work, that's a workout, that's my travel, this is an event. And the way that you can add to the color and everything, so you go up here to the little gear and you go into your settings, and then in here you can change a bunch of things. You can change your default stuff. So if you create a new task, it immediately just makes it an hour-long thing. You can change it to 30 minutes, you can change it to 4 hours, you can change your time zone, so you can definitely customize things in the way that you need. But we are going to go over to the left, and we're going to do an add calendar here. So you click add calendar, you can subscribe to other people's calendars or create your own. Create your own calendar here. You can name it something like, we're going to do a test here. We're going to just mark it as test cal. If you want a description, I don't really understand where this description goes. I guess if it was something where you were working with a team, you could add description there and then your team could see it, but I ain't got no team, so it's fine. I'll create the calendar and we can go back into our settings, or sorry, back to our calendar, and then you can see it categorizes these in alphabetical order. So test cal is here, and it just automatically gave it an orange. The way to change the color, so now you hover over your new calendar and then you'll go into the 3 little dots here, and you can choose any color that you want, or you can customize it, which I kind of did. And if you have a specific hex code that you already know, you can grab these color schemes. If you are someone who loves an aesthetically pleasing calendar, you can always go to something like Pinterest or just Google search color schemes and color palettes. I used to change mine by the seasons, but over time it felt like another task I had to do. So keeping a color to a specific task was so much easier for me than changing it and then rewiring my brain to understand what color is associated with what. However, you can always do that. If that is up your alley, go ahead, you get the hex code that it has for whatever color you're choosing. You can just copy and paste it into this. But there's so many different colors, of course, like the color wheel is there and you can change it whatever color you want. And that's how you would do that. Over the years, I have introduced little emojis just to give me more of a visual of what it is exactly that I'm doing. So like I was saying, for YouTube, I do tend to signal myself if it is an editing day or as we can see, that's a lie because here we know it's YouTube and I didn't even put that in there. But in most instances, I would, and you would be able to tell if I'm editing or filming by just the little icon there. And this is what I mean by you can always, let me find a day that I was traveling. So here in December, I went home for Christmas. We can see that. And I did I did 4 days out there, 4 or 5 days. And if I go into here and I change it into monthly view, this is why I really appreciate when there is no specific time frame. If I am going traveling, I just like to do a full mark on my calendar to signal I'm not going to be here. I know I'm traveling. There will be like no appointments or anything that I do unless I'm able to do it, of course. That I like to do by going into here and choosing the all day option, and then you'll be able to just have a start time and an end time, and then that is what will give you the full line all the way across. Again, like when I went to Vegas in January, I like to mark that in so that I know what I'm doing, you know, so I know what's going on. I also like to do that if there is something like being sick. I like to, again, just completely, especially if I'm sick, I like to be able to like close that off as well and take the full rest and then come back. And as you can see, I was only sick for a day and a half. Some of the discipline that I've tried to add into my life is that as soon as I know something, I will add it to my calendar just so I can really customize and block off any times that I need to in order to not overbook myself and everything. Since I primarily use Google Calendar as a personal calendar and just to organize my life properly, and because I've made it a priority to track whenever I'm feeling down or anything, like I can see that last week was pretty rough. I didn't even do much. I did have therapy and I probably went out and like grabbed something, and then for Valentine's Day I did nothing. I got myself out of the house the next day and I went for a walk. So small things like that will tell me when I'm down. I'm still working with my therapist about PMDD. I have been diagnosed with PTSD, and so putting in there that I was triggered and then I started to spiral out, I can see the length in time. And then I also know, because with PMDD, it is associated with your menstrual cycle. So I'm able to speak on what is actually happening, when it's actually happening, and being able to visually see that and reference it in therapy has been very, very helpful for me. And that's kind of how I keep track of my wellness journey. So that's all I have for today. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that you learned something. Everyone's calendar is completely personalized, their own. Everyone uses it for their own specific reasons. Like I emphasized, use it primarily for my own mental health tracking, my own wellness tracking, and of course my life, because I have things that I still have to do regardless. But I know that like during school, when I was in college, it was filled with all of my rehearsals, my classes, my deadlines, my work schedule. I had like 3 different jobs when I was in college. So it was very filled out. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here today with me. And I hope that this just gave you insight on being able to use your calendar the way that you need it. There's no right or wrong. I don't do any time blockings. I did try that for a while, and it was honestly a little overwhelming for me because it was just too filled out, and I like to see some space to let myself know, you got time, girl. You got time. Because it felt really rushed in the other way. And again, because of my own mental wellness journey, I had to shift. I had to change things around. And I want to just emphasize that you are able to change things to accommodate your lifestyle and your needs. Yeah, it's your own personal calendar. It's your own personal assistant, technically. So thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I do have maybe like 70% of y'all who watch, more than 70% of y'all who watch that are not subscribed, which is fine. I'm just saying, let's be friends. Let's learn together, you know? Okay, thank you so much. I'm gonna go and edit this video, I guess. No, I need to eat. I'm gonna go and eat. Okay, bye.